Hello children and welcome to this special English hour. I hope you all are doing fine. Today we will learn some new things and have fun while doing it. Are you all ready? Let's get started. We will start our day with a fun tongue twister. Our tongue twister for today is Fred fed Ted bread. I will repeat. The tongue twister is Fred fed Ted bread. Sounds easy? Let's try saying it a little faster. Fred fed Ted bread. Fred fed Ted bread. Fred fed Ted bread. Fred. Oops. I made a mistake. I was not able to say it fast. Were you? If you were, try doing this activity with your friends and try saying this faster at least 5 times.
Hi, I'm Chair. I was not born as you are looking at me. I was born in a forest near Nagpur, located in the state of Maharashtra. I flourished after being born in the lap of nature. My mother was a tree of rosewood. It was a huge and powerful tree. For many years, I stuck to my mother's lap and grew up as a branch filled with beautiful green leaves. I used to dance with the cool breeze and rain. At the blows of the air, I continued to be envious of my fate, swinging and smiling. One day, a woodcutter came to the forest. He rested in the cool shadow of my mother. After some time, he threw a rope over me and tied it tightly. I groaned in pain. On coming close to me, he inflicted a great blow on me. I screamed, but he didn't care. The woodcutter brought me home. Many of my family members were already lying there. He put me on the same pile. Gradually, I started drying up. A few days later, a carpenter arrived and bought the whole pile of wood from the woodcutter. The carpenter loaded us in a truck and took us to his house. The carpenter took us off the truck and kept us in a room. He placed us differently according to our sizes. The carpenter had a variety of tools. He ripped us with a saw and gave us different shapes. At the time of cutting, I again suffered greatly. After rubbing it with sandalwood, my shape improved. Carpenter made me stand in one corner. The next day I was polished. Now I started shining a lot. I was very proud of my shape and started thinking that a good shape could not be found without suffering. The next day, the carpenter sold me to a furniture man. This is what I enjoyed so much. For many days, people used to just see me and go. This happened every day. A principal sir then came to the shop. He fell in love with me at first sight and bought me. The principal got me kept in his room. Now, when I look back, I think that not all pain is for destruction. Some pains help you to grow in life. Bye.
Wasn't it an interesting video? Can you all tell me what was the video about? The video was about a chair, and this chair was telling us its story. The chair speaks about her initial life before she became a chair. She speaks about how she used to be a tree in the forest and how she had many friends in the forest. The chair also talks about how humans did not treat the trees nicely. Then she talks about her life as a chair. She enjoyed being a chair. So, this was the story of a chair. Can chairs speak? Can any other inanimate object speak? Obviously, they can't. But we can. Just like the chair, we have another inanimate object who is going to tell us their story. Are you all ready? Let's have a look at the poem. Before we read the poem, let's learn some new words. You will see these words in the poem when we read it. So I request you to please make a note of these words in your notebooks. Restive, restive, restive. Raju was feeling restive because he was very hungry. Prance, prance, prance. The teacher saw Rani prance in the corridor. Shiver, shiver, shiver. After reading the horror story, a shiver ran down my spine. Gleaming, gleaming, gleaming. The moon was gleaming in the night. I hope you remember these words. Wow! We learned 4 new words today. Let's revise them once more. Restive, prance, shiver, and gleaming. Hand in hand, they dance in a row. Hither and thither, and to and fro. Flip, flap, flop, and away they go. Fluttering creatures as white as snow. Here, the poetess is talking about the clothes that are hanging for drying. She thinks that they look like they are holding hands and dancing happily. She also thinks that they look like they are birds flying in the sky. Like restive horses, they caper and prance. Like fairy tale witches, they wildly dance. Rounded in front but hollow behind, they shiver and skip in the merry March wind. This time, the poetess is comparing the clothes that are on the clothesline with a horse. She says that they are prancing or moving very wildly and in excitement. So the poet says that the clothes are moving like a horse. She also compares to the shape of the clothes with that of a bowl, which is round but is hollow inside. 1. I saw dancing excitedly, struggling so wildly till she was free. Then, leaving pegs and clothesline behind her, she flew like a bird and no one can find her. Now, the poet talks about one specific piece of cloth. She says that this piece of cloth was very wild and it wanted to fly away, which is why this piece of cloth was always struggling, and one day it was finally free. What do you think is the poetess trying to say here? Here, what the poetess is trying to say is that one piece of cloth goes flying away. Has it ever happened to you where you had kept your clothes for drying and because of wind, a piece of cloth had flown away? It has happened with me many times. Just like that, this piece of cloth also flew away. I saw her gleam like a sail in the sun, flipping and flapping and flopping for fun. Nobody knows where she now can be, hid in a ditch or drowned in the sea. Here, the poetess is talking about her feelings when she saw the cloth fly away. She says that the cloth looked like a sail and it was shining brightly in the sky. She tried to catch it, but she could not. And many people tried to find this piece of cloth, but nobody could. And now she doesn't know where this piece of cloth could be, whether it is in a ditch or has it drowned in the sea. So, just like the poetess, other people are also wondering the same thing as to where did the piece of cloth go. She was my handkerchief not long ago, but she'll never come back to my pocket, I know. In the last stanza, the poetess finally reveals what this piece of cloth is. Yes, the poetess says that this piece of cloth is a handkerchief. Now, this piece of cloth has flown away and she knows that she can never have it back. Have you ever lost a handkerchief? As a child, I was very messy. I don't even have the count of the number of handkerchiefs that I must have lost. But we need to be very careful with our things. This is exactly what the poem is also trying to say. It talks about the life of an inanimate object like a handkerchief. It talks about its journey, then how it is on the clothesline, and one fine day, the poetess loses this handkerchief. Students, I hope that you liked the poem. We learned a lot of new things today. Now it's time for you to sit back and relax while I tell you a wonderful story. The name of the story is The Sound of Water and it is written by Shalini Srinivasan. Varsha was sitting in her balcony. She sees that the leaves from the trees that surrounded her house were on the ground. It was very hot. There were no leaves left on the tree. Varsha was feeling irritated as it was very hot. The air was dry. Varsha hoped that she could go for a swim. Her father tells her that she should feel lucky because there are many people who don't even have water to drink. That night, Varsha dreamed about water. She heard sounds like thup, thup, thup. She did not realize where this sound was coming from, and suddenly she woke up with a start. Her heartbeat was pounding very fast. She got out of her bed and went to check under her bed. Varsha tried to look under the bed, but she could not find anything. She got out of her bed and went towards the window, but she still could not see anything. All she heard was a sound, and this sound was like splish, splash, sploosh. But Varsha could not see anything. Next morning, Varsha was sitting in her garden. There also she heard the same sound. She also told her father about it, but he did not believe her. Now, Varsha was having her lunch. At the lunch table, she again heard the same voice, and this time it was even louder, which is why she asked her father if he had heard the sound this time. But her father again denied it. Varsha could hear the sound throughout the day, but her father could not, and Varsha kept wondering as to why her father was not able to hear the sound. Now, Varsha had a feeling. She thought that inside the walls of their house was hiding a huge water monster. That night, Varsha was not able to sleep. She did not know what to do, and then suddenly it struck her. She thought of checking the well. Varsha went to the well, and in the well she saw a small leopard cub. This cub was wet and hungry. Varsha now realized where these sounds were coming from. It was the tiny little leopard. Varsha was trying to get the leopard cub out of the well, but she was not being able to do that. She tried using the stairs, but the leopard just could not move. Varsha knew that the leopard was hungry. She wondered if the cub would eat fish. Varsha arranged a fish and she went towards the well. She called out the leopard towards the fish. The leopard came near the fish, grabbed it, and again went inside the well. Now, Varsha was waiting, and while she was waiting, she fell asleep. In the morning, when Varsha's father woke up, he was shocked. He saw that his daughter was sleeping near the well and there was a leopard cub. He was very scared, and looking at Varsha's father, the leopard cub also got scared. Varsha's father is very angry at her. He tells her that this is a wild animal and it could be very dangerous. Apart from that, it is illegal to have a wild animal in your house. But Varsha does not understand any of it. She says that the animal was hungry, which is why I fed him. Now, Varsha's father called the forest department and they took the entire day to finally get the leopard down the tree. Varsha was very sad. She did not want to give the leopard away. And she says this to the forest officer. But the forest officer tells her that if she keeps this animal, she could go to jail. The forest officer tells Varsha that this is the third wild animal that they have rescued. Why do you think that all these animals were coming out of jungle into the village? Yes, because it is summer season and they don't have any water to drink, which is why they are crossing their territory and coming into the land of humans. The forest officer also tells Varsha to build a small pond near her lake so that these wild animals can come and drink water safely. Varsha cannot take care of the leopard all by herself, but she can build a pond and she convinces her father to let her do this and he agrees. That entire summer, Varsha kept on digging and digging. Her father also helped her. The dark clouds had returned and they brought monsoon with them. After a few days, it was Varsha's birthday and her father gifted her a pair of binoculars. Why do you think he gifted her that? He gifted her binoculars so that she can sit in her balcony and see the pond. Now, Varsha sits in her balcony and with her binoculars looks at the pond. She can see everything and she can hear everything. She can hear the sound of the birds and the frogs. Now, Varsha is very happy. Children, I hope you liked the story. Can you all tell me what did we learn from this story? This story teaches us that no matter how small initiative we take, what matters is the number of people we are able to help with. Here we saw that Varsha is a small girl, but she does something that would be helpful for everyone. And all of us can try to be Varsha, can't we? Today we learned a poem, and in this poem we heard the story of a handkerchief. Now, for homework, I would request you to write a story about an object that you like. For example, I love my comb very much. So, I would like to write an autobiography about my comb. You also can do the same thing. I hope you had fun in today's session and you learned something new. Now, I will see you in our next session. Until then, take care and stay safe. Bye.